Hi, everyone. Thanks again for joining us for another episode of the Daily BizLink. Kathleen Gramzay is back for our Wednesday Wellness series, where we're continuing to talk about self-empowered health. On today's episode, we're talking more about how to use resilience to overcome setbacks. So, Kathleen, thanks for being here.
My pleasure. You could say that the COVID variants are, and the impacts on business and our personal lives really have provided quite a little setback to humanity because we were all ready to be past it, frankly. So how we deal with setbacks and the way we explain them to ourselves has everything to do, like the stories we tell ourselves about setbacks has everything to do with how we are and who we become through those setbacks. There was research done by a leading psychologist whose name is Martin Seligman. And his research showed that consistently viewing or telling ourselves pessimistic self-explanations really are associated with increased likelihood of depression, anxiety, hopelessness, and helplessness. So it behooves us to really think about this, right? What we're saying to ourselves. Resilience is the ability to reframe our perspective from what he calls the 3 Ps. So the first is permanence. So permanence is when we're looking at something and we're seeing it, do we see it as temporary or forever? So resilient people see the effects of bad events as temporary, right? They're not going to say, oh my God, this is going to be this way forever, right? So for maybe it's as an example, right now the supply chain is bottlenecked, so we need to make some temporary adjustments. You're not saying to yourself, oh my God, we're never going to get materials again, right? It's a difference of perspective of it's temporary. The second is pervasiveness. And in pervasiveness, resilient people don't let setbacks in one area affect all their other areas of their life. They don't blanket over everything else. So maybe you're having a challenge at work, you're not so good at something. Okay, I'm not good at this thing at work, rather than saying, I'm not good at anything in my life, right? So avoiding those over blank generalizations. The third one is personalization. So resilient people see that there are outside forces that are beyond our control that are impacting things. So, and what they do is they can see it and acknowledge it, and yet still take responsibility for the piece they can positively affect. So in the previous circumstance, it's like, okay, I don't have any control over the fact that the container with all our products is stuck at the port. What I can do is I can make sure and give everybody in the communication chain a heads up so everybody can prepare for that, right? So it's that twist, it's that shifting of how we look at things and then what we do as a result.
I know these, excuse me, as I'm choking. I know these strategies have personally helped me with getting through, COVID or different challenging circumstances. So it becomes a little less overwhelming when we do put it in this perspective. So Kathleen, as we look to offer some additional advice, tips, or challenges to our listeners, what would those be?
Well, the very first one is practice thought awareness. What is that? What's the tape that's going on? Do you go into catastrophizing? The word is right. Catastrophizing. There we go. Everything in your head, or can you just take it in this moment at this time? And it's okay. Just pay attention to the programming and then do a reframe. Reframe it every time when you think it. So how can you say it different in a way that is thinking about these 3 things, right? Not permanent, not pervasive, and not personalizing it. And then the second piece would be, right, we can help each other through this. And that's the whole point. We're all in this together, literally. So if you're dealing with a work or a family setback, then what resilient behavior could you model? Can you demonstrate that could help other people who are in the same setback you are to have them and get through it with greater resilience?
Great. Well, Kathleen, thanks so much for bringing up this important conversation. I know this is something that's personally helped me and my team members with navigating these obstacles in our personal and professional lives. So as we look to wrap up today's conversation, is there anything else that you'd like to leave our audience with?
No, I would just say that to recognize it's okay that we're all going through this and we're all going through it together. So whatever where we're hurting, odds are other people are hurting. So when we can flip that and bring that our ideas into thinking about other people and how can we help ourselves and help each other, it's going to make it that much easier to get through.
Great. Well, Kathleen, thanks so much for joining us on this episode of the Wednesday Wellness.
My pleasure. See you soon.